overtake him. Oh, you might. Just a quick notification to the Twitch viewers and to you lads in the stream. If I suddenly say I need to go stand up for a minute, I have no feeling in my thigh at the moment. So I'm actually quite struggling to sit for too long without getting really bad sensations in my thigh. Which is weird because it's numb. I don't get how it works either. So if I suddenly say I have to go for a minute, someone's gonna have to take over, keep the flow of the SidePOD going. That's probably gonna be Owen since he's the co-host. But yeah, if that happens, just mate, you wanted to be honorary co-host. What you get?
True. Yeah. Okay. Well, I just needed a role.
All right.
Because everyone else had one.
Hello and welcome to SLR SidePOD episode 20. Yes, we are now 20 weeks into the SLR SidePOD, which is weird to me because we actually started this like March. But of course, with everything that's happened in the off season, we didn't exactly do any SidePODs. So yeah, of course we're on episode 20. So we were supposed to do a special episode. I got mad that I couldn't actually do the special episode, so I may sound a bit passive-aggressive while talking about this content that we're going to be talking about today. I have a few lovely people with me today. I have, of course, my honorary co-host, Owen, who is, of course, replacing Steve-O, who is actually not able to join us today. Unfortunately.
Yeah, he's
Ranga also can't join us today.
On his truck as Steve-O, so he can't.
Yeah.
Trucks in, so he can't bring his Xbox with him.
Yeah. He can't join us.
Horrid scenes.
We also have Southerners who has been on the SidePOD before and is technically one of the members of the SidePOD, but he's kind of a part-timer. Skyver, I should say.
Ow. Thank you for having me again.
Nah, I'm fine with anyone who wants to join the SidePOD, even if you're not part of the technical members group. Anyone can join, which is why we have Nikki, who is also joining us today. As you can see along the side, he's actually racing at the moment. Thank you. I try my best. Yeah, Niki's racing at the moment, so if you hear loads of swear words, yeah, that's Niki, struggling.
You're lying.
Yes, of course.
Penalty.
Clock is going to be here today for his usual quiz. He's just going to be a couple of minutes late. He should be here in a minute. Yeah, let me introduce the topic, of course. This week we are going to talk about penalties due to both events that have happened in SLR itself and the real life of F1. Mainly a certain Mercedes driver, which we are actually on board with a Mercedes driver at the moment in time. Ranga's favourite person, but we'll go into that later on when we get into the actual topic. Owen, do we actually have Driver of the Week sorted out now?
Yeah, it's been announced who Driver of the Week is.
Alright then, so of course we have Driver of the Week this week as well. Clock's quiz should be a fun one if it's about penalties, as always, because Clock's quizzes are always fun. Smoke is already out of the race, hit the wall, spinning, because he's an idiot. Yeah, we are already 9 laps in, which is like a third of the race. So, not a third of the race, I am an idiot. Flipping out, I can't remember. It's a fourth of the way through. Because 4 times 9 is 36. Haha, I know maths.
Yeah, you're right.
Is it? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so
it is. I'm right.
The way through, you mean, not a fourth.
But it's still technically a fourth. What about that sentence was wrong? I'm sorry. What about that sentence was wrong?
I guess, but
me.
you don't really say a fourth, do you?
Yes, it was just in my head because I said it was like a fifth, but
Tomato,
I
guess.
Exactly. Yeah. Just before we actually get into the main topic, I'm just going to quickly go through what you can already see on the screen, which is, of course, the standings at the moment for Wednesday race of like their positions. So of course in first we have Ryan, followed by Merckx, Freeman, Dylan, Wiggy, Niki, Connor, Sem, Hicklin, Drad, Hypers, Rando, Jib, Craftiest, Jam, Panther. And then of course we have both McLaren drivers, DNF and Smoke. DNF being the most fitting name for him at this moment in time. Clock
right.
has joined, so of course we will be definitely having the quiz this week. And since Steve was here, that means I have to do the fricking jingle.
Yes.
This is not...
I think that should be Nikki's
No.
initiation.
Thrive under it. Yeah, do you know what? Yeah, do
I'm
it,
not
yeah.
allowed to give him the lyrics. I'm not allowed to give him the lyrics. Steve said I'm not allowed to share them.
Nikki can do the
Going on
Finnish
here?
version.
I didn't
yeah,
want
you
to
can-
know what's going on here.
Like, are like jingles different in Finland?
Oh god, never.
He can make a Finnish one, I'll make a Swedish one.
Dude, I'm racing.
Oh, what
It's
a
not.
racket this is gonna be!
I'm just gonna sing the English made version. Let's not go into different languages, please, as some of us are not very good at the other languages.
I was under the
I just
impression
had-
that you thoroughly enjoyed my report in Swedish.
Oh my god, that was
I
an
did like
eyesore.
your report in Swedish. I did like it. It was quite an interesting thing.
Yeah,
I
kinda
was under
sus.
the, but I was under the impression you were also going to do it in German, Spanish, French. I thought you were going to do it in every language you could. But you didn't.
Just do it of whatever country we've had the race at this week.
Yeah. Oh, that would be a good idea.
No, it would not be a
What?
good idea.
Yes, it would be.
I'll be
No,
able to help
it
next
would not.
week. Next week's Austria, so that's German, so I'd be able to help with that.
no, Austrian is
Oh,
a,
yeah, you.
is a language.
Anyway, before we start going into clocks, racism as usual.
What?
Oh,
The moment we start getting into different languages, clock goes racist against everyone else from the
From the Scandinavian region.
As long
Scandinavian.
as long as you're not Danish or Norwegian, it's fine.
See what I'm saying?
oh my word!
See? He literally hates everyone else from the Scandinavian countries. So, let's move
You are
on.
Norwegian though. You are welcome to SLR from everyone else. If you're interested, enjoy it.
I'm
Oh my
gonna
god.
I'm gonna make his name into dots in every race report.
I hate clocks.
He did that for me last season. Just I don't think
Did
it
he?
was meant to be. But there's one race where it's like I qualified 8th or something, and then for some reason it just wasn't there on the quality. It was like 8 ... And I was like, what? It was really weird.
Alright lads, since we are, of course, doing the side pod, we have a topic this week. Like I said, it is penalties. This comes on the back of a interesting Russian Grand Prix for a couple people. Of course, the big headliner being Lewis Hamilton, my least favourite driver, because he is an arrogant... I'm not going to say that word because that's technically
no.
swearing.
Good.
not gonna go down that route. Yes, Lewis Hamilton actually got 10 seconds worth of penalties due to 2 separate incidents of what's the official term? Inappropriate race starts, I think it was called by some officials. As he was told to do race starts, but he decided not to do it in the usual place, instead doing it at the end of the pit lane. It's actually quite dangerous to other people leaving the pit lane and people coming down the straight. So of course, got penalised twice for doing it twice.
No, you're wrong there.
What? I thought
He
it was the
didn't
same
do it
incident
twice.
twice.
No, he got one penalty for doing a practice start where he shouldn't do it. And then he got one penalty for not keeping a consistent speed on the pit exit because he was still within the white line in the
Oh,
pit exit.
right.
And then you're
Oh, right,
required
yeah,
to. You're not allowed to slow down there unless your car breaks down. You're not allowed to speed
Oh,
up,
I
obviously.
see.
Oh, sorry, you
I've been
are allowed to
misinformed then.
speed up. You're not allowed to slow down. So that's... At least that's what the Swedish commentator said.
Fair enough.
So,
Well, I have been thoroughly corrected. Thank you, Clock, for saying that actually how it is. Yeah, so of course he got 10 seconds worth of penalties, which, as stated by the rulebook, he had to actually serve at his first pit stop, which of course led to him sitting in the pit box for 10 seconds before they could then, of course, change his tyres. He then went from, I think it was about 16th, no, it wasn't 16th place, about 15th place, and ended up on the podium
Something like
still, which I don't really care. It's a quick car. He's a quick driver. I can't take that away from him.
There is something actually about kind of the fact that he got the 10 seconds, and it's slightly different. But say if we did it on the game, we can't serve the 2 penalties together, can we? Am I correct in saying?
No.
I'm not too
Because
sure.
We have to serve them
just
at
going
2
off of
different
game
pit stops.
logic. I said to my grandparents, because they were watching the race with me, I said, "Oh, he'll have to do it in 2 separate pit stops." And I said that to him because that's just what I've known from racing, from the racing
See,
from here.
It's a good point, though.
Okay,
I just- Yeah.
see, technically, yes. This was actually stated by the F1 commentators at the time. If you get 2 separate 5-second time penalties, most people would take them at 2 different pit stops, depending on when they got the penalties. But if you get 2 separate penalties before your first pit stop, you do have to serve them both. It realistically depends on when you get those time penalties. Since you got them at the same time, they were, because of course they were rewarded.
I guess that makes sense. Like, as they were kind of from the same
Yeah.
incident, I guess that makes sense,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
So even though there were 2 separate instances of 5-second time penalties, they were just classed as 1 penalty, because it was technically within the same incident timing. So they at least had to serve them at the same time. They wouldn't have been added to the end of his race. They would have got, or I think Clock will have to correct me here, but if I remember correctly, the team can be penalised if they fail to serve that penalty during the pit stop and leave it to be added at the end of the race. I'm not sure about that, but I think the team and the driver can be penalised. So of course he served it all at the same time.
well,
Which,
it says
unlike
in
the
rules
games,
that it says in the rules that you're required to take the pen on the first pit stop, so...
I assume, you'll
Yeah.
probably get penalised somehow.
Yeah. Yes, of course we have the Hamilton penalty that happened this weekend. But I would also like to bring attention to what Twitter and the F1 newscasters have been really enjoying was Daniel Ricciardo's 5-second time penalty, and then his comment after said penalty. Of course, we heard Hamilton ranting and raging about, "Oh, why have we got a penalty? What's that for?" As he usually does, because he's a whiny little. I'm not going to continue.
No.
Wow.
Sorry, feels strongly about Hamilton.
Callum's
Don't
very
like him.
brutal.
I thought I
Especially
was
when it's
bad.
towards Hamilton.
I agree with him.
I agree with him as
Yes,
well.
Iggy, okay,
It's all
let's stop,
Hamilton
let's stop,
haters in
okay,
here.
okay, let's stop. I'll continue. Okay, so, of course, we heard Hamilton ranting and raving about why the hell he got a penalty. What did Daniel Ricciardo say when he got told he had a 5-second time penalty? Alright, I'll go quicker. And what does he do? He goes absolutely quicker. Pulls a, what is it, by the end, I think it was a 15-second time gap to
think it might have
Sebastian
been,
Vettel.
Yeah, to Vettel.
Yeah,
I
to
think it
Vettel.
was, yeah. It
Yeah.
was well. It was about.
What?
I think he
Not
needed about
Vettel, Charles
5. I
Leclerc,
think it
Charles
was,
Leclerc, sorry.
I think it was
Yeah.
5 ahead of Leclerc in the end, but it was.
Wasn't it Perez?
And then he got the
No,
5
Perez was
seconds.
4th, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Perez was
was
in
fourth.
front of
Yeah, Perez was 4th,
Ricciardo.
yeah.
In that.
Yeah, you
moment.
confused me there
Um,
with Vettel. I was like, Vettel, wasn't he like 14th?
Yeah, that confused myself. And I was like, so yeah, we hear one driver who is supposed to be more experienced with more world titles going, why do we have a penalty? How could they, do this? And then you get another driver who doesn't have a world championship to his name and just gets on with it, which is kind of the reason I don't like Hamilton, but we'll not go into that now. I would probably dedicate a whole
I was gonna
podcast
say,
to why
like,
I hate Hamilton.
defending.
We'll save it for the week.
It
We'll
just
save that for
kind
the
of-
week he wins his 7th championship.
Yeah.
There,
Bruh.
because I remember there was a point that somebody made, and I saw it on Twitter as well. They said something like, well, everyone was kind of hating on Hamilton for how he kind of lashed out, I guess you could say, a little slightly, the other day. But then when Raikkonen did it for his penalty in Monza, everyone found it hilarious. Were like just loving him for the fact that he did like his was it little for what or whatever it was, and everyone
The
found it
difference is-
hilarious and all of that. I guess that's just
Yeah,
Kimi's
but the
character,
difference
innit,
between
but-
Kimi Raikkonen and Lewis Hamilton is Lewis Hamilton, just rants and raves about it. Kimi Raikkonen says one thing, but just gets on with it. Hamilton, after the race, Hamilton accused the stewards of trying to stop him winning, which is not the case. In Monza, he got the exact same penalty as Giovinazzi got, and they weren't trying to stop him then because him and the team in
Yeah, cool. So I meant
got a
Mugello.
penalty.
Sorry, I thought he got it in Monza, Raikkonen, but he got
Yeah, and
got the penalty.
then
in
when-
Mugello,
it was
didn't
in Mugello.
And then when
Yeah.
Hamilton says that, the stewards shit themselves and decide to remove the license point
license
and give him a
points. That made no
25,000.
sense.
I've
At all.
I've got
I was
my
gonna move
opinion
on
on the
to
license
that.
points.
That made
I've
no
got
It's.
sense
my-
I
at
think.
all.
I think it's so horrible. It's just because it's Hamilton. They removed the point and we'll give you a fine instead. It was the same with. I think it was the Ferrari. I think it was Leclerc or someone last year when they got a fine for an unsafe release.
I
Instead of
think-
I
penalty.
remember there was a team.
Okay,
that got
And it's
fined.
like, it's just like, why would you give him fine? It's purely because Hamilton can get suspended a race if he gets too many license
yeah, but-
points. It's
okay.
just
That's
They're
it.
literally
Okay.
just- they're literally saying
infuriates
that's
me.
the main reason why, so he won't get a race ban.
I mean,
See,
when
I
you've
don't.
got when you've got a sport like F1, I mean, I think someone might have pointed out in Discord earlier on, but if it was someone like, no offense to the driver, but like Grosjean, if they got a race ban, they won't batter an eyelid. Like Ragunafin and F2, they won't batter an eyelid. But if it's Hamilton, who is
Yeah.
supposedly going to be breaking the records of the most World Championship wins,
Yeah.
most race wins,
Yeah.
and you've got him having a race ban, it doesn't make the sport look good. I think that's probably got an influence
Yeah,
on
but
it as well.
yes, but it also makes the sport look worse when they're not treating every driver fairly. But I hate to defend Mercedes and LAFIA here, but it was an error on Mercedes' part because they said to Hamilton, "That is fine, you can do that." If it's team error, why should the driver be penalised in license points?
But isn't it a team
realistically-
sport?
Yes, but the
Yes.
unfortunate fact is, I think the way the license points are supposed to work is if it's a driver's fault, not if it's a team error. But I'm not exactly sure how the FIA work. FIA is stupid in my opinion due to some decisions they've made in the past couple of years, which I think everyone agrees they've made some
Ooh.
weird decisions. Especially since Charlie Whiting died, I think they've been less than, fair to some drivers, looking a bit more, what's the word, unequal between the drivers, should I say, when it comes to penalties and other such things.
You are
of
throwing some
course.
big claims around yourself right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're going all out today. There's no hesitation
Hey,
here.
I already gave you a disclaimer at the start of this podcast that I didn't get to do my idea for this 20th episode, so I'm not taking any prisoners. So,
I still think, I think it'd be better if we do it for 25th. But yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
just. I think being
I
a
can-
quarter of a century will be quite cool. So
see, The unfortunate fact was, of course, I wanted to do the special podcast race, but because of the Wednesday race, I couldn't actually do it. But no, well, I'm just taking out my anger on everyone else in the podcast today. No, I'm not really. Unfortunately, penalties are up to interpretation depending on who you are. Everyone's got a different opinion on certain events, as we see in SLR actually, which I am going to quickly move on to, as of course we have a couple stewards in. We have our head steward, of course, Clock, because he's the fucking boss of everything. Sorry.
Oh, the door's open.
I lost. Yeah, the door has been opened. I tried to stop myself.
What have you done? The floodgates have
Clock,
been
that's not
slammed.
Clock, that's not an opportunity to, start swearing. That was just a... Okay.
Just get the bleep machine out. There we go, sorted.
Okay,
My time to
so...
shine.
That's something for Joe to do. Put it into the YouTube later.
You
So,
rattled Nicky's cage.
Oh, Callum
Alright.
in a cage.
oh no, let's not start that again.
Oh, that's
Hated
some
that was...
that's some
so
old. That feels
stupid.
really a really long time ago now.
It does, because that was like on the 5th podcast as well. Ugh.
It just came to me when it said cage. I was like, oh, Callum in a cage.
I hate you, Clock, so much. Let's not bring back Callum in a cage. Ugh.
Really toxic.
Let's move on to the topic at hand, people. Please.
Okay, let's stick to
Yep.
was it Dictator Callum or whatever.
Yeah, it's Dictator Callum now. In SLR, of course, we have our stewarding panel. Our head steward, of course, being Clock. I myself am a steward. Owen is a steward. Nikki, as well, is a steward. Southerners, I'm not sure if
I've
you're
written
a
that.
steward or not.
I'm
I
just
can't
a-
remember.
You're just the driver.
No, I'm just good. I'm
You're
just
just a
one of the
bot.
drivers who gets involved in the investigation.
Every single week. It's
I'm the only
Southerners
one that
on
can
our-
vouch for that.
I don't even have to look at the clips. I just know Southerners is in there somehow.
I should have keep you
Even
guys
if he's
busy.
not
that's all.
like
I mean that
mentioned.
too.
He's not even mentioned. He's just in the clip somehow.
Yeah, everyone should watch the F2 sprint from last week.
No, let's
Let's
not. Yeah.
Okay. Let's not go into any specific details. By going into a specific detail. So, originally, when I was not part of the stewards, I hated stewards because I actually lost out on my first SLR win due to some stupid decisions. Which,
Quite a few
if they
people have
were...
done that might be a good stat to find out how many people have lost their first win from stewards.
Have fun.
See-
So I remember Silly Bunny
Counting
had
that
it
out.
last year, didn't he?
Yeah, I think that was a podium bunny last year.
Not,
I remember
oh yeah,
correctly.
no,
yeah.
He got his
finally
first win in
podium winner.
Brazil. It was Mexico
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
think apparently his weaving was like IndyCar, something like that.
Oh god.
Yeah, I
So-
do remember there was something quite severe if I remember rightly,
Yeah.
but still, nonetheless.
So, as I said, I've not always been the biggest fan of stewarding. I joined stewarding to try and make it even, because, I got screwed over by a bad decision, which if it was voted during our current rules, would have probably not actually been given a penalty, and by the current minds of the stewarding panel. But that's my own opinion. Of course, the stewarding has changed over the times that we've raced. It basically changes every other week at the moment because everyone's annoyed with it, everyone's not happy with it for some ungodly reason. If it works, it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It doesn't work no matter whether it does or not. Because everyone else has a differing opinion. And of course, penalties are dished out based on the opinion of the majority of voters in the stewarding panel, which Of course, we have our own league rules and penalty system, which, of course, gets taken in consideration while we are dishing out the penalties. And unfortunately, there are the odd couple of people who are quite vocal about us, not handing out the right penalty. Not going to name names because there's many people that have happened in the league over the last couple seasons. So yeah, it's unfortunately it's an unfair system because everyone has a different opinion. It's a fair system due to actually being fair rule wise. It's an unfair system opinion wise, which happens all the time. So of course we've had some differing penalties over the last couple of years. I would like to bring up the unfair penalty I was talking about, as it is an actual example I can vividly remember, which cost me my first win. It was a 20-second penalty for hitting someone on slick tyres in the rain. I did not cause any damage. I did not actually, drive off until he drove off. He was actually in front of me and spun by himself again. Yet I got a 10-second penalty, which I still kept the win. I then got a 15-second penalty instead, replacing the 10-second penalty, which I found ridiculous. And then I got a 20-second penalty because they felt, we shouldn't give him the win. And that is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard.
I wouldn't have slept at night.
I don't know if it was China in season 2.
Okay.
Well, at least you, you made up for the fact you didn't get that win by winning the championship. So.
Yeah, but it's funny because the 2 races after that, I crashed out and I didn't attend, and then went on to win every other race that season apart from one. Yeah.
Great way to bounce back, though.
Yeah.
That's a way to kind of shove it in the face a little bit.
That gave you that extra bit of fire, mate. Maybe they done you a favour.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it didn't give me extra fire because I had crashed out that one race, which after the race I'd found out that I'd been given a 15-second time penalty instead of the 10 seconds, so I was like, oh, okay, I still won the race technically. Then after the race I didn't attend, I found out that I got a 20-second penalty instead. I was like, why does this keep getting brought up? Who the hell keeps saying that I shouldn't, And I found out it was actually the guy that I hit and made lose the race, even though I was on slick tyres in wet conditions. And I wasn't left any room. But never mind. I'm not going to go into the semantics of it. I just think it was an unfair penalty. I am not going to appeal it because it's too late. I didn't even get a chance to appeal it because there was no appeal system back then.
It was appealed.
Yeah, but somehow it was appealed, which annoys the hell out of me.
We had an appeal system. I know what incident you're talking about now. It was you versus Ben, whatever it was called.
Yes,
and
I think it was Ben. Was his name Ben?
Yeah, something like that. B3NXV. So I'm just gonna call him Ben. Anyway, so he, probably from his clip, I assume it looked like you spun him. And I assume that we didn't have a clip from you that showed what actually happened from your point of view. So when he spun, it probably looked like he hit
clip,
you.
But unfortunately, no one could access it for some ungodly reason.
But there you
Anyway,
go.
that's...
So then, on having to go on the evidence that using his clip, it probably looked like you spun him, judging by an arrow or something being very close, or the way he spun. I don't know, I don't remember the clip, so I can't. But then, of course, he got the penalty, but you still won. But then he appealed it, because he was like, you shouldn't spin someone and win a race by spinning someone, which I think, even if he spun you or not, it is correct saying that if you spin someone, so you can win and still keep the win when you have a penalty, it's something wrong. So that's why the penalty was modified, so you didn't win by spinning him, which is correct if you spun him, which I won't go into because I don't know.
It was funny
Kind of
because
feels like a bit like the Jeremy Kyle show here. We're finally figuring out after all these years what the truth
See,
is.
the problem
it's
with
kind of
that
feeling
is-
a bit like,
What does the
the problem with that is
DNA
I didn't
test
actually
say?
spin him.
yeah.
Yeah, the problem with that is, Callum, that you didn't have a clip, so it probably looked like you spun him from his point of view.
Yeah, but because I've actually watched the clip that he sent in at the time.
No, seriously, like, get
Yeah,
it's just
okay.
trying to having an argument.
The thing
over
is
season
that
two.
I can't really argue against because I don't remember the actual clip. I'm just like saying how it is or how it was.
Well, anyway, I'll move on because I know for a fact if we start getting into an argument, I will kill someone. I will murder someone.
Ooh. Oh, there was actually something I was going to say, and I've kind of forgotten it, which doesn't help.
Go on.
Oh, that's no. So I remember I heard you point out about how it's. Oh, I'm losing the words. It's something like how it's never going to be correct, and I mean it's perfectly a perfect description, really. I mean, no matter how much we try to kind of modify it, there's always going to be people that aren't exactly happy with it. And I saw another thing that you pointed out is the fact that you said that kind of we have our own rules, which I mean, but we don't take our rules like directly from the FIA or something like that. If you get what I mean. So. I mean, if we did, that'd be still a bit bad because I mean, as we've just been ranting for the past half an hour or so about how it was wrong on Sunday. So, I mean, I think that is just fair. I just thought about that. It just came across my mind earlier.
See, Clock and me have already discussed this at length in another podcast, so I'll not go into too many details. Our rules are based off other leagues' rules. We've modified it based on our own situations and how we handle the league. Of course, the yellows will know more about it. Clock being one of the yellows. But we took them from another league. They were modified, and then we've run them. And the actual rules themselves have been chopped and changed to suit the situations. They will never be fair to everyone. They'll never be, exactly how everyone wants them. But the rules are there because that's what makes the actual racing fair for everyone. But of course, everyone doesn't agree with every rule at that moment in time, which of course will happen. So, yeah, it's an unfortunate situation, but it's not like we can help it. Southerners, from a non-stewarding point of view, how do you think about how we do stewarding and how we, of course, dish out penalties?
I think it goes into great detail. I think looking through the rule books, the stewards seem to cover absolutely everything in terms of what the incident may or may not be. Of course, there was a bit of a debate involving one
A little bit.
the safety car restart penalty thingy, but that wouldn't have been a debate if the game was just functioning how it should be. But obviously, to try and rectify the game mugging off players, I feel that was right to be brought in. But I think, I think it's set out really well. I think the stewards do a great job. Obviously, there's going to be one or two decisions that not everyone's going to be happy and agree with, but that's going to be absolutely normal. We've got 100+ people in our league. There's going to be at least one person who isn't going to be agreeing with the stewards on that one. I think it is taken serious, as I believe the 3 or 4 stewards from each division getting a party together one night and just go through it all. So it does get taken seriously. It's not just like oh god, look at this, or it's just been wiped out. Oh, just dishing with that. It's thought through. I can imagine it gets the whole process is taken very seriously. Yeah, I mean, it's easy for people to say, "Oh yeah, I'll go and be a steward," but the reason I won't be a steward is because I'm not prepared for the potential backlash or the backlash that will happen. Because again, not everyone's going to be completely agree with your result outcome. So I think the stewards are very brave. And yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you.
Fair play to them. Fair play to the stewards, to be honest. I mean, there's been, fortunately, yeah, I've been in a few investigations this season. One of them I was guilty. One of them I was guilty of, but over time, you see that it was the right decision.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, overall, I think the stewards are doing a great job. I have respect for them because they're taking up time of their own time to go through the incidents. It's almost like a second job, a job that you're not being paid for, and you're not being paid for something where you are going to get people criticising you if the outcome, in their opinion, isn't correct. Yeah, I think overall, I think it's set up brilliantly, and much respect to them.
To sort of reiterate what you just said about the, of course, backlash that happened.
Yeah.
I myself was under some backlash for a decision I made. I'm not going to name names, I'm not going to name the exact incident, but me and another one of the elite stewards, it was just me and him. Unfortunately, the other two stewards could not be there that night. So it was just me and him making the decision, and the comment of another steward who couldn't actually develop on his comment, but he made a comment about the clip. Me and this other steward made a judgment call. We decided that it was this amount of penalties based on the clips we saw, based on the information we were given. We checked 3 different clips. I think it was 3 different clips, and we both came to the same conclusion, and that's what we went with. Unfortunately, I did end up, of course, having to defend myself in a couple chats to make sure that people knew that that's the information we were given is why we came to that decision. At the end of the day, we can only, judge based off what we're shown, which isn't always correct. We don't get every single angle like how the FIA does, apparently. And unfortunately, we've got a system that people need to send in just a quick reason why this happened, reason why this didn't happen, reason why they were there at that moment in time, stuff like that. But some people don't, so we can't, actually let them defend themselves, because that's why we got rid of the appeals in place of these descriptions of the incident. So we can't always get it right. We sometimes get it wrong. We use but even if we get it wrong to say, we've based it off the information we've been given. Yeah. In this clip, I do agree with some of the points I was, being accused of making, that I got wrong, and I do agree that some of the points, based off different evidence that wasn't actually that wasn't presented at the time, could have maybe come to a different outcome, but based on the evidence we were given, the appeals were closed, and we can't change it. And luckily, that backlash was only for that, I think it was an hour and a half of constant texting back and forth in this one chat. So, yeah. Just quickly, before we continue on with the topic for another 10 minutes. Yes, the Wednesday race is now over. Our winner of today is Ryan Jones, followed by Merckx and Jam. Jam actually won on track, but unfortunately, due to penalties, has been moved down to 3rd. Followed by Freeman, Jib Jab, Niki, who's in the pie right now. Congratulations for 6th, mate. You can breathe a sigh of relief. Followed by his teammate Sem, Wiggy, Craftiest, Hypers, Panther, Dylan, Zydrad, Connor, Rando, Plum, Smoke, and Hicklin. The bottom, I think it was the bottom 7 didn't actually finish, so yeah. Alright, so Mr. Head Steward, how do you believe our penalty system is?
How it is?
Yeah, what do you believe could be improved? What's your opinion of it, basically?
Well, there's always something that could be improved. There's always gonna be some flaw in the rules. It's that we'll figure out or that we'll discover when it happened. It's happened multiple times that something's happened and then we realize, oh shit, that's not in the rules. We'll have to.
He swore. Everybody heard that.
I have the privilege to do that. So.
Go on, sorry, mate. Go on.
But yeah, I'm not saying it's perfect. It'll never be. I don't think it can be, considering how many people as well needs to agree with it. It's like in real life in any sport. No one ever agrees with any decision. I mean, if you watch football, for example, take one game where both teams are really, really happy with the ref and all his decisions. Good luck finding that.
Yeah.
So it's everything that's a judgment call by a human being. It's gonna lead to someone being unhappy. It's simple as that.
Yeah.
It's a matter of accepting. If you're in the league, you just have to accept the rules as they are. You can of course you can give feedback and if something is clapped and we'll review it, but yeah, but
I've got
it's the truth, you know.
I've got a little question. I mean, I'm quite intrigued as obviously an SLR driver and SLR fan, and probably the viewers as well. So obviously going through the rules and that, with all the penalties and that, it's all set out really well. I think it's very well explained also. But of course, when the SLR first started and introduced stewards, penalties, etc., were some of the rules brought in when such and such a scenario was happened, if you know what I mean, or was it the rules were just chucked out there predicting if that scenario happened, if you know what I mean? So like how many of the rules that
a lot of them,
a
lot of them have been have been brought in, I should say, when something has happened. Exactly.
Yeah.
So a lot of times we've had an incident happen and we've seen that this should be the outcome, but we haven't got that specific rule yet, so we'll have to make an outcome according to our rules. But next time it happens, we'll make sure we have a rule change. So it's correct next time.
Clock is correct. We have of course done that, but unfortunately, that has in the past caused some disgruntlement. Of course, we've changed the penalty, and of course, it's changed for someone else. But of course, the original person who got the penalty rule put in place then ends up complaining like, "Well, why didn't you change mine?" Well, because we didn't have a rule in place at that moment in time.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, when basically F2 starts on a Thursday. That's the rule. The rules that are on the website on that Thursday will be the rules we follow all the way onto that Sunday, unless we have like a very, very acute rule change between races. I think it's happened like once when the game is so glitched out, so we'll have to change the setting within the game or something to not fuck up the lobby completely, but. In like 99% of the weekends, the rules that it said on Thursday when F2 or on Friday when Division 1 starts, that's the rules that will gonna be in place for the whole weekend. And if something is discovered, it's gonna be changed next weekend. And no, it's only random if whoever will find something that is broken or is a flaw. So it will just be unlucky for that person, but it's lucky for everyone else that they didn't
Yeah.
get it. That didn't happen to them, basically. If that makes sense.
I know another rule we've actually sort of brought in. Well, not a rule. It's sort of
So-
a
So Rang is
little
here. Sorry, I
interpretation.
just see
Yeah,
if he's here
Rank was
quick.
here. Yes.
Sorry, I'm a bit late. But,
I'm a bit late. We're nearly at the end.
Everton finished. That's why.
You know what
He's
they
on there,
say.
Everton have done.
Everton finished one, so told you I'd be here.
Did they win?
Yeah, better. Yeah, of course
Yeah,
they
like
did.
4-1.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, Everton.
It's only West
Calvin
Ham, so it's
Lewin.
not surprising.
yeah,
Hamlet
West
Lewin
Ham.
hat-trick, thanks for coming. So
Again?
anyway, yeah, he got another hat-trick. Anyway, we're getting off topic.
Yeah, thank you, Ranga. I was just about to say. He comes in and fucking destroys everything. Sorry, I swore
Sorry.
again, but
I tend to have that effect, Callum. Just happened wherever I go. mate,
yeah,
so-
always, mate. Oh, mate. I love you really, mate.
What we talking about? Like specifically?
We are just about to finish the discussion of penalties within SLR.
What about him?
Just what we think of them, what some decisions that have been made in the past. That was actually mostly me ranting, but let's not bring that back up. Yeah, what I
Actually-
was just about to mention. Go on.
I was going to say, because obviously at the start we're talking about the penalties with Hamilton issues. It'd be interesting to
Yeah.
hear Ranga's opinion on it.
Oh, don't start.
This will be
I-
fun.
I don't know
if,
about
if
that
he
one.
says that those penalties were wrong,
I'm like,
Then we can kiss.
I'm gonna
this is what I
throw
think.
my
This is
Xbox out
what I
of the
think.
window.
This is what I
Go for it,
think.
mate. Go for it.
In regards to the Hamilton penalties in Russia, I think it's very petty, but it is, if he committed a racing crime in inverted commas, if he did something against the rules,
Crime.
there you go. Yeah, if he broke the rules, then he broke the rules. I think it's petty. I think there's not much in it, but like that's fair enough. But in terms of like,
There is
if we
much
are,
in it.
if we're
Okay,
gonna talk
okay.
about Hamilton penalties, then I'm gonna
Don't.
gonna bring up the Albon incident in Austria.
Yeah,
Let's go. I want to hear all of this.
Oh god.
The Albon,
Callum,
the Albon
Callum.
incident where he hit
Right,
Albon
okay,
off
I'm gonna
the
leave
actual
now.
track.
Callum, you
which
just set
Albon
off a
incident?
bomb here. Can we just avoid
Did,
that bomb? I
um,
think?
It wasn't me who set it off. It was someone else who said.
Did-
Randy
right,
talk
did-
about Hamilton.
Right, hold on. just
Matt,
a
you
quick question.
idiot.
Did Leclerc get a penalty for what he did to Stroll on Sunday?
No.
No. So tell me the difference between Stroll and Leclerc and Albon and Hamilton.
Hamilton did it twice.
Yeah.
It's not wrong.
Hamilton's an asshole.
He's Nicky said one thing in this side pod.
Okay.
Kind of got a point.
Ranga,
Might
I'm
have
going to
to
say this
shine,
now.
yeah.
Never fight me on Leclerc. Never.
I'm
That is
waiting. I'm waiting.
He did not get a penalty. I don't know why he didn't get a penalty, because I believe he should have got a penalty, even though I'm a die-hard Leclerc fan.
You know, I thought he should have got a penalty as well.
Yeah, I
The stewards did not give him a penalty for somewhat of a reason. No team has appealed
Think-
it.
There's no
Case in
difference
point,
between
has
that
not appealed
incident
it.
and the incident of Hamilton and Albon. You know, in my opinion, they were both trying to take the corner. I feel like they're both entitled to take the corner, and the way they took the corner, I don't feel like they could have really done much more in that particular instance. But
It's
why are we
still
even
not like the
debating?
stewards.
Why are we even debating
It's
this? I thought
still-
we were talking about SLR.
Still,
It's
it's still
just
not
gonna
like the
set me
stewards
off.
doesn't.
This
It's
is
still
Matt's-
not
this is
like
Matt's
the stewards
fault.
are against Hamilton, because as soon as
do you
Hamilton
know
says that
what?
the steward's trying to stop him, they instantly remove his
Do you know
penalty
what?
points and just shit their pants.
Hamilton's
Yeah.
gonna have a ton of penalties go against him this season, and he's still gonna win a championship. So that's fine by me. I've got nothing to say about it.
He's still going to win it no matter what.
I've got no comment to make anymore. Let's talk about
You already
penalty,
won.
shall we?
Okay. I'm going to mention this final point because of course, Ranga came in and has ruined the entire schedule of the thing as usual.
You're welcome.
It's also because of Matt. Matt is half to blame for him going on a rant about Lewis Hamilton.
You're also
Thanks,
welcome.
Matt.
Cheers, Matt.
Okay, so we at
Go on.
SLR have introduced a little sub-clause at the end of the rules, which says that we are, of course, flexible under certain conditions. If a decision is, not guided by an actual rule, so there's not a rule that, is, justified by the incident at hand, we are flexible to assign any penalties based on what we believe that actual incident should get, considering we don't have it in the rulebook. And of course, some incidents, may in the rulebook warrant 20 seconds, but in reality, no one would give 20 seconds for that sort of incident. So again, I think we can be flexible on that one as well. I just wanted to quickly say that. Of course, all our penalties and everything is on our website at summitleagueracing.wordpress. Yes, I had the website memorized because I'm a nerd.
I feel like there's
In
something
regards
else
to,
on there, though.
In regards to the thing you said about like the little asterisks, I think back in like previous seasons, I think one criticism that we had either as a league or stewards was that decisions were made like by the book, like they were too
that was
rigid.
that was one of our
Did that
biggest
make sense?
criticisms. Yeah.
So like, I think we have included that to give ourselves as stewards the flexibility to change penalties and so on as we see fit. So like if we say like it doesn't like depend on maybe if a guy's finished a race or a guy didn't finish a race, that's not what it's dependent on, because if he committed a crime and on track, then
He still should get the
yeah, it doesn't make a difference. If you should get let's say you might have finished P17, or you might have crashed, but if you get a penalty that's worth 15 seconds, you get a penalty that's worth 15 seconds. We don't care whether you finished or not, because if it gives you a quali ban for next week, then it gives you a quali ban for next week. That's not like, that is what it is.
Yeah.
But like, I think there was like too many incidents previously where we might have given let's say it was like in maybe like a lap one. Like obviously, like we're all human. Like a lot of us now have had quite a lot of stewarding experience, but we were all new to it at one point. We probably have made quite a few bad decisions over the period of like 5 seasons. But like, I think back in the day, like maybe it was in like lap one, we'd give like a potentially like up to like a 15 or 20 second penalty for like major wing damage or full wing damage or whatever. But now maybe I'm just trying to think of an example off the top of my head, but I feel like maybe if like, I'm not saying that like people are like we're like more lenient towards lap one incidents, because if it's bad driving, it's bad driving. It doesn't really excuse it whether it's lap one or not. But I feel like
You mean shit driving?
I mean,
yeah,
Ranga, we can call back.
That's what came straight
Ranga.
from my head.
Ranga, we can refer back to literally a decision we made last night in F2 about a lap 1 incident. Was it? Yeah, it was F2.
Yeah, I think
we
the old
ended
SLR. The old SLR would have given that as a penalty, but it was pretty. How do I describe it? It was I think we actually like unanimously agreed, didn't we, in the party?
It was correct.
Yeah.
It would have been really harsh to penalise that person because of the circumstances that he found himself in. Like, he didn't do anything wrong. It wasn't his fault that the car in front was slower than anyone was really expecting. And because it's lap one, one going into turn one, he had no room to go. And obviously, after making contact, it was just unfortunate that it was one of those things, really. But that's what I mean. In the old days, that might have been a terminal damage. Well, no, it wasn't terminal damage. It might have been like major wing damage or full wing damage sort of penalty.
Yeah, I think the decision. Yes, sorry, I was going to say the F2 decision was correct. It was correct. They're seeing it from like just the whole perspective, the perspective as a whole. Yeah, the only reason I asked for it to be investigated it was just more of a retaliation to not like him being at the wrong place, wrong time. But it's good to see that that stuff is being seen as just a big bit of misfortune rather than someone having to take the blame. That's quite good.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah. It's it's not an easy job. I think everyone here who is a steward can or has been a steward will know. I think if anyone says it's not an easy job, they're lying. It is not. It is
Yeah, no,
hard.
it's the
So.
Like
easiest
was,
job I've ever
yeah,
done, that
like
is.
was mentioned earlier, it is like
Sure.
a second job sometimes. With how like,
Yeah.
so I've been in some steward meetings that have taken up to nearly an hour and a half, just because of one decision taken up to an hour, nearly an
Pretty
hour.
sure last season we had some like
We've had some that have gone
over
over
2 hour
hours.
conversation.
We've definitely had
Yeah.
some that have gone over 2
Wow.
hours. So.
Yeah.
That's why
That
the
was when
stewarding
we
is
did it,
completely different this season. That's why
what- yeah,
stewarding
that's-
is completely different. Like it always
Yeah.
used to be one big group looking at all the decisions from all the 3 divisions, and I mean last season was 3 divisions and F2, wasn't it? One big
Yeah.
group. This season, obviously, it's been completely split up, and it's like a completely new format for everyone. And with appeals being taken away towards the start of the season, it's a completely separate, well, not separate, but it's a completely new system for literally everyone involved. So, like,
No.
yeah, I think we discussed it.
See-
We discussed it in our stewards chat earlier, and I think we're
Yeah.
open to the fact that our
It's not perfect.
system isn't perfect. I think it certainly is better than what it was. Like, don't get
Yes,
me wrong.
I agree.
Like, it definitely was better than it was. But I think, yeah, we all make wrong decisions, don't we? Like, we've all been there. We've all
Yeah.
made like we've all. You know, I can remember a couple of clips where I made a decision, and then after a decision's been made, and you know, you've got to stick by your decision. Like, you might have made a wrong call, but it is what it is. Like, I know it's kind of crappy, but we have to accept the fact that, you know, we have to accept our decisions, and we have to be accountable. If that makes sense, we have to just accept
Yeah.
it and move on. So it's not an easy process. So I'd recommend if anyone wants to. You know, if anyone seems to have an issue with stewards or, you know, stewarding in general, then come forward. I'm sure we can fit you in somewhere, because it's
Because there's a long
Yeah.
line of people who do not like how we do stewarding. Unfortunately, we can.
it's crap though, because everyone, no one gets paid to do it. People give up
No.
their own time to come on. Like, bear in mind, quite a lot of people. It's in the middle of the week. Bear in mind, people might be working away. People might just come back from work, want to see their families, so
Yeah.
on and so forth. Like, it's all well and good racing. Like, that's maybe a weekend or at the end of the week when people can afford to and have got the time, and that's enough commitment as it is. But like, the people who go above and beyond to do the stewarding and give up their time to debate, in some cases for hours, over,
yeah.
you know, they're not even getting paid for it. They're not getting anything out of it. I mean, and then they're not even getting any form of satisfaction once they get rinsed in the chat. So, like, it's, at the end of the day, it's not
It's brutal
an
just
easy
sitting
job,
and
and
watching it happen.
yeah, it's not fun to sit there and get rinsed when you've done what you thought was the right decision. So,
Yeah.
in that case, I'd encourage anyone to come forward if they want to do it.
I mean,
Yeah.
doing stewarding for so long, you learn that you're going to get rinsed even if you have made the correct decision, because people just hate that they've been given a penalty. People just sometimes. I know everyone I have respect for everyone in the league. Everyone, you know, we're on this league. We're here to have fun. At the end of the day, it's a game. We're trying to have fun here. We do stewards as a way to, you know, try and keep everyone fair, level, and without, you know, problems. But if we don't do stewards, nothing's good. No one would be happy. Because we do stewards, the majority of people are happy. There's always those 1 or 2 people who let their emotions go, and they just fight about it all the time. I have to stop myself again swearing, because there's just the odd person here and there that, you know, you're trying to have a nice evening, you've just been at work all day, and you're getting written, like Ranga said in the chat, for something that you believe is a right decision. And other people in the same, you know, stewarding panel with you that night all agreed it was the right decision. And it's just awful. So, yeah. I mean,
So
You know,
I mean,
it's
for me to sit here and like criticize people who call out stewards or have a go at stewards is rich. Like I've done it myself, and like I think
I get bullied
sometimes-
by
I mean,
Ranker every
yeah.
week.
exactly, yeah, exactly.
See-
Everyone gets bullied every week.
see,
But like, it's easy
Yeah,
to
go
get
on.
caught up in the emotion of like you are stuck in like I mean, I have been really guilty of it myself. Like, you just get stuck in your own opinion, how you see something, and then obviously, like, you might listen to someone else's opinion, but you don't let it affect or change your opinion. Like, you might just listen to
Yeah.
it just so you know what they're saying about it, but it doesn't really change your way of thinking about it. And having spoken to stewards, particularly over the recent weeks, it helped. I mean, I should have known better from personal experience. I mean, I've done it for 5 seasons. I should know that to be more respectful of the decision. So I've held my hands up for that, and I've apologised to people concerned. But I completely understand, how they feel to get ruined or not necessarily ruined, but how to, when they get pulled out for. Yeah, so like it. Yeah, it does suck, but I mean,
See-
I can understand why people feel the way they do if they
Yeah.
get a decision that goes against them.
well, I mean, I am guilty of it, but unlike what other people do, because I mean, today, literally during the podcast, I've ranted about a past decision, but that decision can't be altered. That decision no longer makes any difference, so I've ranted about it. But I didn't rant about it at the time. I just, let it happen because I had no. Even if, because at the moment, at that time, apparently there was appeals, and I didn't really know that there was appeals. So yeah, I described an incident that to this day I'm still not happy about. But at the end of the day, it's been 3 seasons now since that incident happened. There's no way it's gonna ever change, and now I'm ranting about it because I can't. I don't know who the stewards were anymore. I probably Clock was on the stewarding panel at that moment in time. Probably you, but I feel like if you're going to rant about a decision, you shouldn't, get people involved in your anger, because they're doing their job at the end of the day. They're going about what they're trying to do. They're not being compensated. There's no, like you said, there's no feeling of relief from a decision happening. It's just the pure of, we got tasked to do this, we're going to do the job, don't like our decision, get over it. Because...
I think we can all. I think if obviously we're all opinionated, we're all racist, we're all competitive, so on.
Yeah.
I think we can all probably think of an incident we've been involved in where we probably felt we were hard done by, or we felt like it wasn't. We didn't get the outcome that we felt it deserved. Like I think everyone's going to feel that way. I think it's just a case of how people deal with it. Some people deal with it a lot better than others.
So I was going to say, I think I deal with it quite well compared to others, but then again, I've never finished inside the top 5, so then I don't kind of know how bad it is from a big ice perspective. So
it does get worse.
Like
the
for
higher
instance,
you
this
are.
week
Yeah,
I got a
it does.
5-second penalty. I thought that the person that I had the incident against, I thought he was in the wrong. I thought it was a ridiculous move that he made on me. That was just my personal opinion on it. But I got a 5-second penalty for it. I jokingly, I get sent the stewards report. Just coincidentally, I get sent them by my cousin. I get that every week. I get to see firsthand that he's given me a penalty. So it feels quite weird. So I just I jokingly say to him, I was like, what? How was that a penalty? I'll just say like that. And then after that, I don't say a thing about it ever again, pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm normally quite good. I just don't. I'm like, I mean, I can't appeal it anymore. That's the thing. I mean, I don't think I ever did an appeal, but again, I'm like, I don't really care. So what? It's put me down a little bit, but I don't. Yeah, just move on, get ready for next week, try and do myself a bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. We've spoken about it in the stewards. Like we do. I don't think we like the fact that we don't have an appeals panel, but I think it was the old panel it just wasn't functional.
No.
And from being in that old appeals panel myself, it didn't feel functional. It just didn't feel like it was connected to the stewards in the best possible way. Like, I feel like the best way to do it would be to have a mix of people who are stewards doing the appeals panel, but obviously it's not that simple to do. and at the time the system needed to change. So I feel like we said before, it's not. I don't think it's perfect. I think we've seen maybe a couple of like grey areas in recent weeks and stuff, but it's I do feel like it's better. I think, I mean, the other day people get to have their say, and
I do like the fact
It's
that we
like-
can kind of submit statements about it now.
yeah, I mean, previously, like, if people wouldn't be able to submit a statement with their clips, or if people did submit a statement with their clips previously, it wouldn't be read out.
Yeah.
And looking back on it, you think, where's the logic in that? Like, why
Yeah.
is there, like, previously we didn't do it because we didn't want stewards to be like influenced. Maybe if one person
Yeah.
sent something in and one person didn't send something in, so I can kind of understand why we did, but like looking back on it, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But I think that's what you were talking about when I joined the party,
Yeah,
in terms of
but
like
that's all,
changing league rules and stuff. But it's a fluid process. Like, we are happy to change with like demand
events,
or
yeah.
the times or this and that. And I feel like, I mean, it might be easy for me to say, but I feel like as league, I mean, Clock will be able to tell you himself, but I feel like as league owners, I think it's fair to say that we've been generally pretty flexible with like league rules and this and that. Like, we've changed quite a lot, and we're not even halfway through the season since the season started. What is it now? Like 2 months ago, something like that now.
Something
So
like
like,
that,
yeah, I feel like, we are open to change, and we've changed rules many times since. If you were to compare, I'm sure Clock might have it somewhere, like a draft of our first ever rules. Like, if you can compare them now to where we are now, it's like completely unrecognizable in terms of like the way like new rules
Yeah.
have come in because of stuff that people have experienced while racing that we weren't aware of before. Maybe that's down to just things happening or because of a new game, or just the evolution of rules that were already there in the first place. So like, well, to be honest, some of them haven't even changed. Like retiring on track and stuff like that has always been there, and that'll ever change. But stuff like in-game penalties and stuff like that, like it always used to be like, we'd take off 5, 10, 15, whatever it was, like willy-nilly, like even if there was a safety car, even if it had been served, so on and so forth, so people could like end up with a race time 5 seconds less than what it actually should be,
yeah.
even if their penalty had been served. Like, it just didn't really sit well. But like, I think is showing that we were flexible enough to kind of stop the in-game penalties in the first place, which is what the popular demand was, and then like happy enough to. I mean, there's a lot of talk about the 5-second safety car penalty, wasn't there, a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah.
And that was changed, wasn't it, by the yellows? So I feel like the rules and the penalties and stuff are a evolving sort of fluid sort of system that will change on a regular basis, especially once we find stuff that's wrong with the game, which tends to be every 5 minutes. To be honest with you.
True. All right. God, we've been talking for quite a while. Yeah, I think we should move on from the topic now. Thank you all for seeing your opinions. Nikki for that one comment earlier on. Yeah, for sparking the rant that is right.
Cheers.
All right.
He's not wrong though, is he?
No. Alright, so I'm going to move on to Drivers of the Week, which I don't actually think we've got. Do we have actual comments?
Yeah, I
comments for it?
can tell
we've got-
you if you want. I'll do it.
Yeah, I've got it, it's fine. I've got it, mate, it's fine. I didn't actually
Okay,
vote, so
cool.
I think...
I'll go grab the statement that I've been sent. Well, I shouldn't say a message.
Who's the statement by?
Beast.
Oh, Beast, alright. I'll do Beast first then. So, like you heard, Beast got Driver of the Week, but it was for the sprint race in F2. I'm going to read out the comment that was made in the initial post by Liam. So, Maxwell thought after the start he had been wiped out after a crazy off-the-line action we saw from a few cars. He pitted for... Why is it talking about Maxwell in things? Anyway. Managed to take them softs to the end.
Oh, because he was the co-commentator. That's why.
Oh, right.
So that's his thoughts on the race, basically. That's Maxwell's thoughts on the race.
God.
Are you okay? Just read out what he said.
Actually, I actually hate Nikki.
Why?
Love you too.
I'm joking, man.
Yeah, if you want to read out his thing, then Owen.
Yeah, so he said, thanks to everyone for voting for me. It was a fun race to drive after unfortunate events in the feature meant that I started quite far down the order in the sprint. The softs worked wonders in helping me overtake the guys ahead, and it got me to the position that I finished. So, yeah. Congratulations to Beast on that. Almost said it. Almost said something. Oh, I've now. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Congratulations.
I'll be back in a second if you can just keep it going. Right. For the drivers of the week.
Yeah. So, Beast got driver of the week for Div 2. Callum roughly said it. Can't remember where he finished, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty decent. And our driver of the week for Division 1 with 18 votes was SLR Bean. Previously, formerly I should say, Bean Emotional. It says he crashed out in Q1, starting down in 18th, and it was a great race coming through the pack. And after pens have been added, he finishes on the podium in 3rd. So a very nice little kind of from 3rd last to 3rd place, kind of in the finish. So congratulations to Bean for that one. I don't know why I love saying Bean so much. I didn't watch either of the races, to be honest, so that doesn't really help me out. But I only watched Div 2, well, Div 1 and Div 2 because I took part in it.
Someone will know.
Has anyone got any comments towards the?
I unfortunately
two
didn't see the
drivers?
race, so I can't comment.
Oh, hold
I
on.
don't know. Matt,
So what was this? Sorry, I was on my phone for a second. I do
did you by any
apologise.
chance watch Division 3? Oh, I guess you
Um,
were Tom's teammate,
I
weren't
must-
you?
Hi lads.
I must admit, I
in
was.
F2.
I must
If you-
admit, I didn't. After Division 1, I just sort of. I couldn't watch any SLR for the next few days. But I have heard stuff. Obviously, I've had people race in Division 3 and that, and
If you
yeah.
want to start the quiz without me, go ahead. But I will be back in a minute.
So, but all the drivers who were
Okay.
nominated for Driver of the Week, they all had a fantastic shout of winning it. I thought, not to be biased, 2 and 15th to 1st. That's special as well. So
That was a pretty good one, yeah.
yeah. So
Then, what's it? Tooman said himself, didn't he? He kind of humbled himself and said that it kind of wasn't really all him. It was to do with all the safety car and all sorts, where he kind of just on the right strategy. Unfortunately, kind of swung his way, and he went because he made up a few positions, but then it was mainly through safety cars. I think he said, didn't he? And he said that really Predators deserved it more, but obviously he finished 6th, didn't he? After because I think Tooman said he crashed out of quali, where Preds his quali position was on his pure pace, so that kind of showed just how good Preds' race pace is, as we all know it is. I've raced for him many times. I've been very angered by just how good his race pace is, and it gets me really annoyed.
he seems to have those kind of performances every week. To be fair to him.
Yeah. Right. So, shall we move on to Klotz quiz? Has anyone
we have to.
volunteered to do the jingle?
is it the finished jingle? Finished jingle, innit?
Shotgun
Nicky's
not.
doing it.
Finished
No,
jingle, I
no,
heard.
It's only
Oh.
Callum has the lyrics.
Well, yeah. Well, he's not here now, so I guess we can just move on. We don't have to worry about it.
He can end off the quiz with a jingle. I'll just start off and let's see which one of you has the most. Oh god.
Knowledge.
Oh, just joining a bit there. Most knowledge was the word I was gonna say. So, first of all, I want to know what
These SLR
Polish driver.
questions.
Yes.
Thank God
and,
for that.
and rules questions as well, because the penalty is the topic. So,
Yeah, it is.
who has which 3 drivers has the most DNFs in Austria in SLR? The 3 drivers who have crashed out twice in Austria.
Jesus.
Steve-O. Is Steve-O on there? Surely he's got to be on there.
Yes,
He's got
Steve-O's on there.
DNS.
He's crashed out twice
Let's
in Austria.
go.
Oh, Steve-O.
Ranga, you've been here for 5 seasons. I've only been here for... Well, I haven't even had a full season. Help me out here.
Trying to think who's raced enough times.
Who are the ones...
Is
with,
it crashed twice, or is it crashed like DNF 3 times or 2 times?
No, but the 2 times. 3 drivers have DNF 2 times, and
I've
that's
done it twice. Okay.
that's the 3 drivers with the most DNFs.
That's
in
Step Ladder Bob
Austria.
by one of them by any chance?
Nope.
Ooh. He's thinking the ones at the top. So
Trying to think-
who's the other one? Hickman,
Trying to think
isn't
of people who DNF
Hickman.
have been here for people who
He
DNF
has-
have been here for ages. So Scott's got to be there.
Hicklin is correct. He has DNF twice as well, but Scott hasn't. You're missing one now. You've got Hicklin and Steve-O, and just one left.
Ooh.
What's the question?
Do
Sorry,
they
I'm
race
back.
currently?
Jocko.
Nope.
Hi lads. What's the question?
We're doing who's got the most... who's got more than one DNF in SLR in Austria?
That's me.
I haven't got a
It's
clue.
me.
Was it
It's
you?
not you.
It's not
It's
me.
not Callum.
I've had 2 DNFs at Austria.
Oh, plot twist. Maybe there's 4.
Not according to me.
Clock's got his stats wrong. I remember
Yeah,
Callum getting
not
taken out
according
by
to Clock.
Kosher in season 1, season 2. Callum
was
got
season
wiped
1.
out by Kosher.
It,
Season 1, I remember it. And then
there was a very
Callum
strong
kicked off after
interview
that.
done after that in the stream.
I can actually remember that fairly clearly. To be honest with you, that was
yeah,
pretty
that
funny.
was an awful race. Yeah, I've DNF from 2 different Austrian Grand Prix.
Well, I won't say
well,
that
Clock's wrong.
it's impossible that I
Nah.
missed
Think about
something,
who
but
this other person...
Clock
that,
is-
Clock's got down.
Clock's a fraud.
I'm gonna
Oh,
check
yeah.
that
Clock, didn't you retire at Austria last season? Because you wall-rided, didn't you?
now.
Oh,
I
yeah.
did, but
He properly like
I've only done it
surfed.
once though. I haven't done it
surfed.
twice.
Are they a
Like,
current driver?
The wall was like a wave for Clock last season. It was incredible.
Whoever is in charge of the TikTok needs to make a TikTok of that crash since
Yeah.
we're coming to Austria.
Owen, Owen, you've got to find that somewhere.
I think that might
It's on
be one that
YouTube.
must be made.
Yeah.
Right, I'll have a look. I'll
Right,
go through
so-
the archives.
Are they a current driver, the other person?
I haven't got a clue, Clock.
Do they drive currently in SLR? That'll be-
No, they do not.
Oh, well, I'm screwed.
Is it what's his name? Well, God, I can't remember his name. You know, he was in Div 2 during season 3.
I ain't
There's
got a
quite a
clue.
few people that are in Div 2 in Season 3. I was in Div 2 in Season 3.
So was I, but I'm trying to think who was at the top of the table.
He wasn't at the top of any table.
Legends.
Nope.
Guna,
Damn it.
quite close up.
Pricey?
Well,
Wenger.
Callum, you finished 5th in season 3 in Austria at least.
Yeah, because that was
Just
my
look
actual
that
good
up.
season.
Was there an Austria in season 2?
No.
No. Okay.
God, I don't know.
I can't
Well-
think of anyone. I give up.
No, I don't know. Pass, Clock.
No,
Move
we
on.
can't give up.
It's
Oh,
Big
I
Shot
don't-
Gorilla.
Really?
Oh, I would never have got that.
Never would
I'd
have got
never
that,
have
mate.
got that.
And I am very proud
This
to
is
say
where
that
we need
Callum is
Steve.
wrong.
Steve just has brains and will just pick up some random names.
Last season, Callum, you didn't race in Austria.
That might be where I'm going to muddle up then.
In season 3, you finished 5th, and in season 1, you crashed. My stats is correct.
Fair
Oh,
enough.
But yeah,
Ahead.
moving on.
Who
Moving
knows
on.
Swift?
Question
Who
2.
has the most pole positions in Austria?
Definitely not me.
So I'm assuming that's going to be
It
more
is,
than
and
one.
I'm gonna tell you that it's only one person who has more than one pole in Austria, and he has 2 poles.
Is your current
Everyone else
driver?
is on 1 pole.
But well,
He
we
is
know
not
it's
the current
Coldplay
driver.
'cause he said he.
Maro.
Oh shit.
Presto.
No.
Maro?
Freeman.
Yeah, I just
Podium. Podium.
Nope.
Wait, was it pole position?
Jocko.
Was it pole position?
Who's
Nope.
Relic Nook?
Nope.
Jay Hay?
I hate you so much.
Oh no,
Does
Jay
he
Hay's
race
still there.
now?
He does
No,
not
he
race
doesn't
now.
race. No, he said he doesn't race.
Oh,
I'm trying to think who's been like quick in their divisions. He doesn't race anymore. Harrison? No, he's only here for 1 season.
No.
Bottas?
Oh, yes.
Correct.
Oh,
Let's get it. Get it.
Bottas.
Is it? What's his name?
Is that the Bottas that had the amazing-
It was
IRLT?
at the time. Yeah, it was
Bottas? I don't
ILRT at the time. He had
okay.
he had some different names. He had Sync Bottas once, and he had SLR Bottas once. And
Yeah, just
had
know
a
him
couple
as
different
Bottas,
names.
and that's it.
Exactly.
Cut a few letters,
Exactly.
then Bottas.
But the final SLR question then, and I want to know who is the most successful current driver in Austria. There's actually 2 of them. Both of them have scored 35 points.
oh, Freeman. It's got to be one of them, I think.
Yes, Freeman is one of them.
Oh,
Ooh.
I'm
What
not
a shout.
Well, after the crash in season 3, I wouldn't assume
Ranga?
so.
Is Ranger up there?
Of course, Ranga's
No.
not up there.
I like that. Of
I don't
course
think
he's not.
No, I don't think I'm far away. I've come second and third there before, I
They're
think.
both
Ranga,
drivers,
you're
did you
you're on 33, so you're 2 points off.
What is that? So that is second and third, isn't it? Is it
Yeah.
second and third? Yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah. Shove that up your
Yeah,
arse,
you've
Callum.
got 2 races, 2
Wow.
2 races, 2 podiums.
That's not too bad. 2 races, 2 podiums.
Hey, that's
Let's
pretty
go.
decent. I see.
Let's go.
I don't feel too bad now. You know, now that I said the ring.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I got
yeah.
shut down like that.
Yeah, up the goat. Let's go.
Um,
I don't know.
Uh,
Are they still racing the league? Is it Steve-O?
they said yes. To
It's not Steve-O.
Why are you laughing? What's so funny about that? It's not funny.
is it
quite
Scott? Oh wait, no. No, okay.
Oh no, that's worse than
Did you actually say Scott?
Yeah, I did.
Is it
I don't know why I
Gary?
said Scott.
Being emotional, or I said I've been.
No.
Give us a
I remember
clue, give us a
Crispy
clue.
won it
I
last
wonder-
year, but he only started in season 4, so
Yeah,
it can't be him.
Is it?
I'm actually checking
Is it
this. I'm kind of starting to doubt myself if I've
Was it
done
Mr.
my
Reimer?
stats correct here. What is that?
I'm trying to think of people who've been here for for ages, and you've said
I haven't got a clue. To
Oh
that.
yeah.
you said Callum's had
I'm-
2 DNFs, so it couldn't be in.
The Callum's only had 1 DNF.
I thought you said Callum's had 2 DNFs.
No,
what
I
were
had
the
one. I
other
didn't.
results?
I
I remember hearing a
start the
5th,
other
but I
one.
can't remember what the other
Oh.
one was.
Well, we've raced in Austria 5 times now. 4 times though, and you've DNF'd once.
Is it
I've
Cameron?
DNF'd once and
And
didn't actually start.
I
the
think
other
it might be. He didn't. He only done 2 races.
Funny thing is that it is Callum.
Oh.
He has somehow
Fuck
forgot that he
off.
won Austria in
What?
season 2.
We did Austria. Oh,
you
we did do Austria in
bullshitter.
season 2. I won that
He
race.
won the championship in season 2. You fraud.
Wow.
You won Austria
Wow.
in season 2, you idiot.
Leave my
Plastic.
teammate alone.
Plastic taking that championship away.
Holy
Oh my
shit! I
God.
completely forgot we did
You
Austria
won
in
that
season
race,
2.
Callum.
Oh my god, it's me. Why am I part of the most successful
He's so
drivers in
excited. Oh
Austria?
my god, it's me.
You and Freeman are the current most successful drivers in Austria.
Fuck.
Although it's
Sorry?
you have
Did you say that?
Leighton with the
Didn't hear that.
same amount of points than you, and Logic Gamer and Podium do have more points than you, so you're not as successful overall, but
I'm one of the most successful current drivers.
Yes, you are. 3
Ah,
points, 2 points
great.
ahead of Ranga, 3 points ahead of me. No, sorry, 5 points ahead of me, and 5 points ahead of Callum McCune as well.
Well, great.
Right. Next question. It's real
Yeah.
life.
Moving on.
I'm gonna
Move
check
on
your
swiftly.
knowledge on flags. See
Oh,
how good
flags.
you are
I'm
with
good at
flags.
flags.
Oh,
I'm good
God.
with flags.
I'm gonna start. Anyone who's played
Right.
F1 2006 is gonna know this flag, and if you don't, I'm gonna throw my Xbox out my window. But it's the flag with yellow and red stripes. What does that
Can you
mean?
not put a picture of
Catalan
it
flag?
in, like chat or something?
It's
I
Spanish?
mean, it's just red and white stripes, like
Oh.
down.
I assume it
I'm-
mean in racing terms.
Yeah, I was gonna say
It's-
it's
it's
racing terms. Yeah.
Yeah, it is racing terms.
Because
It
I'm
is
pretty sure the
racing
Catalan
flags.
flag is red and white.
Oh,
This
racing
flag-
flags.
Yellow.
Oh,
Yes.
oil
Yes.
on track, innit?
I thought you meant like country flags.
Yeah,
No,
that's what I
not
was thinking.
this is why I'm saying exactly. You're correct, Darnell. It doesn't have to be oil. It's that the track is slippery. That's why I meant it. It often came up in F1 2006 Championship Edition when
Oh,
it was very
Yeah.
common that
You always,
drivers had.
always like,
We're not
always
gonna
like to
engine
make
failures.
cars
Right.
in 2006
When
that,
the
like
the
leak
oil
like a
out the back
squid.
of the
Darnell.
car and shit.
Yeah, because they had often engine failures in that game, and when they had, they always dropped a patch of oil on the track.
Yeah, they turn into like a squid.
I
Yeah,
just think
exactly.
that's what a
I never
go-to.
played that game.
Playing Mario Kart for a minute.
I also
Oh,
want
you
to know
missed
what
it.
does the if a marshal shows a complete white flag, what does that mean?
Surrender.
No,
Probably French.
there's not.
Love how
See-
no one understood my
Um,
racist joke there.
A complete white flag in I don't know if it was in 2006, but isn't that like from like dry to wet or wet to dry track? I thought
Nah,
it is
it's
now,
something
anyway.
to do with.
It's not.
Isn't it Marshall on
It's not
track?
what you think, Darnell.
It's
You're
like-
getting closer, but not there. Just.
I
yet.
think I've seen it. When did we see it? Didn't we see it in like something quite recently?
You say just a white flag, yeah?
Yeah, it's completely white.
It's like when
Um,
something's. It's when something's on the track, but I don't know what it is. It's like.
Is it debris on
It's
track?
it's very hot now.
Isn't it? No. I mean, it's
Well,
not.
I
but
said
remember
Marshall's on
in
track, so it
Disney
can't be-
cars, they use the. They
Is
use
it when
Nah.
a slow
white
moving
flag to
vehicle
signal
is on
last lap.
track?
There, Nicky got it. It's when a slow-moving vehicle is on the track.
Oh, right.
Often usually the ambulance
crane or
car
something.
Yeah.
or something, yeah. And then I have got one more, because I obviously assume that you know the yellow flag and the green flag and the red flag and all those, so I picked
Yeah.
the three ones that are a bit more uncommon, and the third and final question with the third and final uncommon flag is a black flag with an orange circle in the middle.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
that
highest
means you need to
damage.
pick.
You have to pick.
What-
Yep.
You have to pick for like repair.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
like
It informs the driver
Like,
that he has
your
like a
car's in a
problem
very
that
dangerous
is
state right now, mate.
Exactly.
Come in.
your car is potentially dangerous to others, so you've got to pit.
So that's like
Well,
when.
they,
remember when like Zenon
send
was
it out
driving
in,
around Mexico
F2
last
quite a lot,
season?
didn't
Yeah, probably Zenon would have been shown that one. Yes.
So Zenon
Yeah.
was finishing the race with no front wing in Mexico last season, so that's the flag you would have got
Yeah.
in it.
they? Yeah,
I
you
get
would have,
it.
yeah.
That was funny as.
That was a very good. That was the birth of the wing damage pro clubs player, wasn't it? If you
Yeah,
remember that.
that also led to a 2-hour steward meeting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the longest ever stewards meeting.
We had pretty much back to
I
back,
think-
didn't we? I remember.
I don't
Singapore
think
was a
we've
really
had-
long one as well.
I don't think we had people disagree as much as
Yeah.
we did on that stewards meeting as well. Remember there was a couple stewards, one of them in here actually, who wanted a very big penalty, and there was other stewards who didn't want a penalty at all. Where it was very split opinions on that particular clip.
I don't remember any. Well, I just remember it being a very long discussion.
Yeah.
It's a bit like Singapore. I remember that being a really long meeting as well.
Not to nag, lads. Can we keep on track with the actual
Yep.
Questions, please.
Oh my god, it's 10:30.
Yep, that's why
Yeah.
I'm saying let's.
I think it's almost time for
Is that
Among
it?
Us. We need to.
Isn't that it? Yeah, it's time for Among Us. That's what I heard. Live on stream.
Oh
You
my
heard it here
God.
first. Nikki's kind of sus.
Nikki's
Bruh.
always kind of
Right,
sus.
okay.
Go on with the next question.
God,
Clark.
Have we got another question? Is that it?
Oh, that's it. Callum, can you do the quiz song now?
Oh, that's it. That's
Over
all.
to you,
The,
Nikki.
that's all the questions.
Me?
Yeah.
I thought you did 5. But that was only 4.
That was 6.
I'm so confused.
Yeah, the whole 6
doing
exactly.
well.
That was 6.
Alright.
Just 3 easy ones.
I'm not doing the jingle because it should be Steve doing the jingle, and out of respect for Steve and his craft, I will
Out
not
of
do the
respect,
jingle.
yeah. Out of respect for Steve-O's van and the MOT.
Well, I think you should call it off then.
Thanks.
All right. Yeah, that is the end of the SLR SidePod. Thank you all for watching. I'm not sure who's actually in the party anymore because loads of people joined while I was out, busy doing something.
I mean, there's only 6 of us, whatever, that have actually taken part. So
So, of course, I have been your host, iCalum76. Thank you to my wonderful subbed-in co-host Owen for helping me along in this
pleasure
podcast.
as always.
Of course, we had Clock as usual, being Clock, and doing his quiz. Thank you for another wonderful quiz. I wish I hadn't missed out on the first one, but on the first question, but of course, it was a lovely quiz anyway. Thank you to Ranga showing up late like the idiot he is, because he was simping
You
for
are
football.
welcome. Pleasure is mine.
Oh,
Pleasure is mine. I was doing
Oh yeah, of course, simping, but not simping for a
What's
Mr. Simping
simping?
for football.
had to get that one in there.
Thank you for Niki for joining as well, and of course, thank you to Southerners as well. Thank you all for joining. I've been iCam76, and goodbye. Hope to see you next week.
bruh.